Hi, welcome to Hidden Histories. I'm Deputy County Historian Madeline Friedler, and I can't wait to show you what we have in store today. In the town of Mount Morris, the Livingston County campus here on Murray Hill has many layers of historical significance. And if you've ever visited, you may have noticed some animal sculptures outside, including this mighty lion and walrus, sea lion, hippo, dog, and bear. You may not guess it, but these little animal statues brought creativity and joy to Mount Morris during a difficult time in American history. Like most of the structures on Murray Hill, these statues date back to the 1930s when this campus was a tuberculosis hospital.
Tuberculosis, or TB, was a major public health concern in the 20th century. To fight the highly contagious disease, New York made plans to build new specialized hospitals in central locations across the state. The hospital complex here in Mount Morris opened in March of 1936. While visiting a few years earlier, even Franklin D. Roosevelt mentioned how the peaceful country hillside would be the perfect spot for a TB hospital. However, Roosevelt had bigger problems on his mind. During this time, the United States was reeling from the Great Depression. Wages were significantly lower, and nearly 13 million people were unemployed. To create more jobs, Franklin D. Roosevelt established the Works Progress Administration, or the WPA, in 1935. This new agency hired people for civic projects, including creating art for public spaces. At a time when most people were struggling to feed their families, spending money on art seemed like a luxury. But through the WPA, artists were still able to make a living and put their work towards a good cause. Advertised as the modern weapon against tuberculosis, artwork was sent to TB hospitals across the country, including this one. Doctors wanted to fill patients' rooms with art to create a less stressful and therefore healthier environment for patients and staff.
The artwork would rotate between hospitals and was specifically chosen to bring the outside world indoors to the quarantined patients. Now, almost 90 years later, over 200 of these artworks are cared for at the New Deal Museum here at the Genesee Valley Council on the Arts. What about these little animal statues? Well, out of all of the patients here on Murray Hill, one group was most affected by the medically required isolation: the children.
Here, school was taught on the first floor, and families were occasionally allowed to visit. However, these young patients were separated from everything that was familiar to them and prescribed a strict regimen of rest, which left few opportunities for fun. Originally, these circus animal statues were placed outside the Children's Hospital to spread some much-needed cheer. Out of the original set of 8 made of poured concrete, 6 remain today. The animals were made by 5 different sculptors of different genders and backgrounds, and despite these differences, they came together through the WPA to create art whose message was simple: to make people happy during an uncertain time. In the 1930s, people were getting sick, losing their jobs, and little things like a trip to the circus had become a rare treat. Not unlike the COVID-19 pandemic, when many people turned to creative outlets during isolation, these artworks served as an emotional aid during a difficult time in American history. These animal statues and other WPA art found on Murray Hill represent a time of both challenges and hope. The patients and staff here couldn't have known what the future held, but they could take joy in the little things, including the art that surrounded them. And although the remaining animal statues are beginning to show their age, they're still providing smiles the same way they did almost 90 years ago. So the next time you're enjoying a work of art, take a moment to think, how old is this? Who made it? Why? And how can I find out more? Well, if you want to know more about your local history, make sure to follow us at Livingston County, New York on Facebook and Instagram, and Livingston County Historian New York on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.